Jai Hind everyone, welcome again to the Patriotic IAS. Let's start our IAS PCSwala Daily Current Affairs. Today it is 18th of the April and we have 5 topics that we are going to discuss one by one. Most of the topic that is from either from the GS paper 1 or the GS paper 3, geography or the environment, that is dominating today's news analysis. So the first topic is the Center tweaks the Green Credit Program norms to focus the restoration of the ecosystem. Again, this is from the environment. Here there was the credit system that if you will plant the trees you will get the credit and you can use it the later. So we will see that how it is going to impact the environmental protection, and we will see that how the government is defending its stand. So again, it will be for the mains as well as you should have the conceptual clarity with respect to the prelims that what is this plan is. Okay, then we will study this Professor Jodhka to get the Malcolm Adisasia Award. So here it is important for the prelims of the state pieces as well as the UP pieces. They can ask that what is the area that this award is associated with. Okay. Then we will study the Great Indian Bustard and Climate Action Verdict. Here this is into the public domain because the Supreme Court has brought the fundamental rights, and this has brought that whenever there is the adverse impact of the climate change, it will be considered under the fundamental rights, and that's why it will be considered under the article 14 as well as 21. We will see into the detail. This is very important news and this is very important verdict. So you should know the verdict, the name of the verdict, the name of the case. Case is still going on because the expert committee has been constituted by the Supreme Court to know that what will be the assessment, what will be the impact of the solar transmission lines and the wind transmission line, the electricity that is produced by the solar power plant and the wind power plant. So the detailed analysis again for the mains. And the basic information about the Great Indian Bustard, and it is a critically endangered species, so you should know. And the area where it's live is the Gujarat and Rajasthan. So for the prelims. The next news will be the rain shock. This is associated with the IMD prediction with respect to the surplus rainfall that is to be predicted into this monsoon season. And yes, it is due to the La Nina impact and the positive Indian Ocean dipole. So the concept of the La Nina and the positive Indian Ocean dipole is very important for the prelims, and for the mains you should know that what is the condition of the monsoon and on the agriculture. So it will be again for the mains as well as for the prelims. Last we will see that India's heat action plan. Here we will know that what is the heat wave and what are the heat action plan that at the different level, like the state level, district level, city level, that is made so that we can prevent the casualty and fatalities due to the heat wave. So again, it will be for the mains. And the basics about that, what is the heat wave, that will help into the prelims, that can be used into the prelims paper. Let's start with the front page. The front page is mostly political here. The West Bengal, EC halt the West Bengal governor's Cooch Bihar trip on the poll eve. So here this is associated with the model code of the conduct. That model code of the conduct prevent any of the government initiative during the election time. When the date of election is declared, the model code of the conduct starts, and until and unless the result is declared, the model code of conduct remains into the force. So you should know it is done by the Election Commission of India, and it is not statutory, it is the traditional convention. Neither it is mentioned into the constitution nor into the any of the statutory book. So you should have the clarity. This is just the traditional, but many of the representation of the people act section that implies here. So you should remember. Again, the second news is associated with the political news that Amit Sir, our Home Minister, has said that we are not going to compromise the integrity of India, that many of the community, many of the tribe from the Kuki, Jo, they are demanding for the sovereign region. Initially, it was started with the special status for that region, but now they are asking for the sovereignty. And here our Home Minister has said that we are not going to take any of the peace agreement or the deal that is going to compromise with our sovereignty. Okay, this is all about here the Dubai. Here the rainfall is very high. So this is the condition that is generally not found, but yes, it is high. Maybe it is due to the Indian monsoon, that is the La Nina condition that is expanding its reach But no, it is not coming into our monsoonal system. That monsoonal system that is confined to our Indian subcontinent. Okay, here this is very important. Center tweaks green credit program norms to focus on the restoration of the ecosystem. Here it is talking about that what is this green credit program? This is being done under the Union Environment Ministry. So what is this program? Under this, like if I am individual and companies, both are allowed. If I wish, I will pay for the plantation into the degraded land. And the degraded land that will be provided by the states. Till now, 13 states have provided near about 387 parcel of the land, and it's account for the 10,983 hectares. So on this land, the forest department will plant the trees. And after 2 years, there will be evaluation from the Indian Council of the Forestry Research and Education, ICFRE, please remember. So this institute gives the certificate that yes, for the one plant you have got the one credit. And how they can use this credit? Here it is given that there is the two way to use this credit. The first is that they can use for demanding that in the future, if we need some land and that is into the forest area, we should be provided with that land without imposing the Reforestation Act or the fund, something like that. So here, that is the main reason for the criticism, that you are giving the green credit so that they can misuse the forest area. And degraded area where you are doing the plantation, that is not exactly as the forest ecosystem. Because to develop a forest system, we need hundreds and thousands of years. This is not the plantation, just plantation. But there is lot of species that evolve around that, and it takes lot of time. So if you are planting just plants, tree, that doesn't mean that you are compensating for the forest and you are going to destroy the forest. So this is the opposition from the environmentalists, that on the name of the green credit program, you are going to divert the pristine forest area. Here the government has said that we are not going to do anything that will degrade the pristine forest. We are just making effort to improve the degraded land. Okay, so the first thing that they can get the benefit. The second benefit they can get under that, they can include all this thing under the CSR responsibility, corporate social responsibility, where they have to pay 2% of their overall benefit. Means whatever these companies they earn into the 3 years, the average of that average, we take the 2% for the social corporate social responsibility. You will study to the detail that what is this corporate social responsibility into your governance paper. So this is all about from this news article. The last news into the front page is that campaigning ends for the 102 seat into the first phase of election that is going to be held tomorrow, 19th of the April, the first phase of the Lok Sabha election, 18th Lok Sabha election. And the rule is that before end of the election, the election starts from the morning 8 a.m. and it goes to the normally 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. you have to reduce 48 hours, means it was the 17th of the 5 p.m. Yesterday 5 p.m. we stop the campaigning. This is known as a silent phase before the caucus of this campaign, so that the voters can decide peacefully that whom they are going to vote. At least they need some hours to think and think peacefully, because we know that during the campaign lot of noise and such thing happens, and that's why this provision is provided. So you should know that 48 hours from the end of the election time. It is not from the beginning of the election time that you should emphasize. This is all about from the front page. Next important news that we are going to take is that the Professor Jodhka get Malcolm Edisacia Award. So this is award, this is given for the development work. So this is on the name of here This is on the name of the Dr. Malcolm S. Edisacia, and he was the economist and educator, as well as he was the deputy director of the director general of the UNESCO, and founded the Madras Institute of Development Studies, and on his name this award is given. Okay, so you should know that in the which area this is given for the development studies, and it is instituted by the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ediacacia Trust. Okay, so two types of this award is given. One is for the distinguished contributor to the development studies, and other to the young scholar below age of 15 who are into the same area. Okay, so you should know, and this time it is given to the Surinder as Jodhka, the professor of the School of Social Science, JNU. And also the Young Award, this is given to the Professor Vikas Kumar. He is associated with the Ajim Premji University again for the development work. So this is all about from the this news article. It is important for the state pieces as well as UPSC prelims, state pieces prelims as well as the UPSC prelims paper. Next news that we are going to take is from the editorial, and it is talking about the Great Indian Board and Climate Action Verdict. So it is recently the judgment from the Supreme Court that recognized that fundamental right to be free from the adverse impact of the climate change. Okay, so, and the name of the case is the M.K. Ranjit Singh and others versus Union of India and others case 2021. This case was filed first into the 2019, and the verdict, the first verdict came into the 2021. Again, the appeal against this verdict was there, and now the Supreme Court is again hearing on the same case. So this case is very important. M.K. Ranjit Singh and others versus Union of India versus Union of India and others case 2021. This case was filed into the 2019 that due to this transmission line, electric transmission line, due to this electric transmission line, there is the collision of the Great Indian Bustard and they are dying, and their number is dwindling and have reached to the such a low level that they have into the critical endangered species. They are about to extinct. Only around 100 of Great Indian Bustard now they are into, they have survived. So this is the picture. This is the way this transmission line is there. This bird is very large. This is the one of the largest flying bird, largest, and they have the heaviest weight. They fly and they collide with such transition line and they die down. They fall and they die. This has been the case, and that's why in 2021 Supreme Court came over with the blanket ban on the further construction of these solar and wind transmission lines. That is very fertile. But the case comes that you are talking about the survival of these Great Indian Bustard. What about the India's commitment at the international level to reduce the electricity from the non-fossil fuel, fossil fuel, and convert them to the non-fossil fuel? Due to the emission from the fossil fuels such as the crude oil, there is lot of CO2, and that is causing the climate change and increase into the global temperature, and that is causing the global warming. So this was the point from the opposition, that was the government. Government was talking that you are talking about the survival of this Great Indian Bustard. Okay, this is good. Indian government also gives the logic that it is not just due to the this transmission lines. It is also due to the their predation, loss of their habitat. That is also reason why you are not focusing. In that judgment of 2021, Supreme Court also said that please replace these transmission line with the underground transmission line. The government said that is not possible, practically not possible. This is theoretically possible, but the cost will be so high and that is not feasible as well. You are talking about the underground construction of these heavy transmission line. That is not possible. So the Supreme Court take all the consideration. There is the two thing. You are going to survival, you are going to conserve some of the species, Great Indian Bustard, environmental protection against the action taken from the climate change to mitigate the climate change. So it's become the case of environmental protection versus the action taken for the climate. So environmental protection. It means the protection of species versus what we are talking. Action for prevent climate change as well as mitigate the climate change. Mitigate climate change. This has become the question. This is the main focus point where this judgment was based upon. Okay. The Supreme Court, while hearing this case, it mentioned that there is the violation of right to equality and a right to life. Because every person need a good environment so that they could feel that yes, they are living a healthy life, as well as there is the disproportionate vulnerability to the many of the community due to this impact. So right to equality is also violated. The who are very poor, they cannot face this climate change issue. This climate change impact are very much high into those who are poor living in the slum. What about those who are living in the high-rise building? They are rich. They have a lot of ACs and they have a car with the AC system. Everything is there. Their impact is very less on these people. But what about those who are living in the slum? They don't have even the cooler or the fan. So this is also the violation of right to equality under Article 14 as well as right to healthy life under Article 21. So this was the consideration of the Supreme Court when it was talking about the fundamental right to be free from the adverse impact and the climate change. One thing you should know that this Rajasthan and Gujarat, they are the home to this critically endangered Great Indian Bustard. Okay. Same time, these two states have lot of potential for the solar and wind power as well. India have the commitment to bring the net zero by the 2070. Okay. India has also commitment to make transition from the fossil fuel electricity production to the non-fossil fuel, and in the solar energy and the wind power are the crucial, they are the central point, because half of the 500 gigawatt that we are targeting from the non-fossil fuel, half is going to come from the solar power, and mostly the death is due to the solar power. Then you are talking for the bring the transition into the underground, this transition line. This is not possible. Government logic was that. But the environmentalists, those who are talking about the environmental protection, they talk about why not the mitigation of the climate change into such a manner that take care of these environmental protection, such as we are going for the conservation of the Great Indian Bustard as well. Non-fossil fuel is important, but there could be the other mean as well. And that's why now the Supreme Court has constituted a committee that is talking about, that is going to analyze, that is going to assess that what are the impact of the solar and wind transmission line. Do we have any alternative? They will give their recommendation by the July, and after that there could be the chance that the final judgment will come. So this time the Supreme Court has not defined that what is meant by this exact the impact of this, where is this impact of the climate change. Here they are waiting for the recommendation from the committee, and then they will decide what this mean by. So right so recognized only relates to protecting human interest against the climate change as per now. If you are going to allow this fossil or these transmission lines and solar and wind transmission line to be continue their construction, so it is not recognizing the others stakeholder, even the non-human interest, like the interest of the great Indian bookstore. So here the writer is talking about that. Here it should be like the more inclusive climate action, where we are going to include those who are not non-human as well. So articulation of more reflexive and the inclusive climate right, where non-human also will be included. And these transitions should be the just transition framework. Just transition framework means you are shifting from one paradigm to the other paradigm that should include the everyone. So this is all about from this news article, where it is analyzing that the impact, how the court has brought its judgment here. The court has also restrained itself from the giving a direct any direction. It has referred to the expert committee, and after that it is going to balance the protection of the great Indian bustard or the protection of the environment and the climate action that is needed to mitigate the impact of climate change. This is all about from this news. This is very important, so you should know the basics about the great Indian bustard as well as the solar power and wind power capacity of India. Besides that, what is our commitment at the international level. So this judgment also include all these things. So please remember the name of this judgment. Okay. Next important news that we are going to take it from the editorial again, and this is the editorial news, and it is talking about the rain shock. So here it is talking about the what has been the prediction from the IMD. So IMD is talking about now the forecast is that there will be the 6% more rainfall than the average normal, that is 87 centimeter. Okay, so this is the normal average rainfall, but whenever there is the surplus, so this year this is the 6% surplus that is predicted by the IMD. So what is the IMD? IMD is the mainly, it is the body that comes under the Ministry of Earth Science, and it is mainly work into the weather forecasting and meteorological observation as well as seismology in India. Main its headquarters is into the New Delhi, Lodi Garden. Okay, so it was established into the 1875, even before the establishment of the National Congress that was established around 1885. It is 1875. So this forecast is based on the different observation. The first observation is the condition of La Nina. This time we see that La Nina condition. What is the La Nina condition? And the positive Indian Ocean dipole. So these are the two phenomena you should know that what this means by. La Nina is condition when at the Peru, the coast of the Peru, it is into the southern America. At that particular area, normally the cold ocean current that flows. But in the case of La Nina, this cold current is the more cooler. Okay, so it is the more means lower than the normal temperature. La Nina condition, El Nina condition, the temperature, the cold current is replaced by the warm current. So here you should know cold, and here the temperature when goes high means more warmer, then it will be the El Nina, and when the temperature from the normal Peruvian current that goes lower, below, even the cold to more lower, and that's why it is the La Nina condition. Positive Indian Ocean dipole, what is this? There is the two side of the Indian Ocean. One side is the eastern side, other side is the western side. When there is a temperature and condition that changes, for example, as there is the cold into the eastern area and warm into the western area of the Indian Ocean. Okay, so let me show that into the map. This is the India, and here this is the Indian Ocean across this. Mainly it is the down here. Okay. And in this Indian Ocean, this is the eastern side. This is the, if this become the cooler than the normal and this warmer, in that condition there will be the more rise of the moisture, more rise of the current, and that's why there will be the more precipitation into the India. This is the condition, and that's why this is supporting. So El Nino, that is reducing the rainfall, but the La Nina that increase the rainfall in India. So La Nina impact and the positive Indian Ocean dipole. So you have to remember two conditions. This is the La Nina and this is the positive Indian Ocean dipole. That is the two thing. As per the forecast, overall there will be the 4 months of the monsoon. In this 2 months will be arid, less rainfall, and the most of this rainfall will be concentrated into the last 2 months. Okay, so it will start from the June. So June and July will be neutral, normal, and that's why arid monsoon. But August and September there will be the torrential rain, and in that condition there is the situation that yes, there could be the positive, it could be the positive for the farmers, but there could be the adverse impact as well. It can impact the flood condition. We have seen same condition into the 2018 and the flood condition into the Kerala. Such type of the prediction was also there, and that's why state must prepare. All the states must prepare for the such emergency. They should also try to bring the plans and also try to conduct audit to the structural stability of the dams and the reservoirs, so that they are the not at the risky level. Okay, and farmers need to incorporate these sowing operations so that they know that when they are going to get the highest rainfall, when they are going to average rainfall, and as per that they should align their sowing operation. This is all about from this editorial news. We have one more news on the same basis of the IMD forecast, and it is talking about on India's heat action plan. Here it is talking about the IMD prediction of the heat wave condition. So this will make more clarity. They have the similarity. They are aligned with the same same. Okay, so here this is on the map you can see that this is the Peruvian coast, and here normally the cool water is prevailing. This is the normal conditions. So if this cool oceanic current that replaced by the warm current, this is the condition of El Nino. Okay, and here you will see that the pressure decreases if you move from this side to this side. Okay, again in the El Nino condition, into the La Nino condition, there will be the more cooler. This region will be more cool, and that's why La Nina condition, and that's why the more rainfall into the Indian subcontinent. This is the main thing you should understand. This is the main thing, by that it impact the Indian monsoon system. Beside that, what is this Indian dipole system? Here, this is the India, and this is the eastern side, this is the western side. Okay, so it's become cooler than the normal this side, and this side become the warmer than the normal, and that's why there will be the more torrential rainfall into this area, this Indian subcontinent. This is the situation, and just reverse condition will be there when there will be the negative Indian dipole system. So you should know that what is the positive Indian dipole system and the negative Indian dipole system. Here we will see that there has been the forecast from the IMD with respect to this heat wave condition in India. Normally this is normal condition. Heat wave every year the IMD predict, but this time situation is worse. Why? Because heat wave prediction started from the February itself, and this is the cause of concern. Normally this start from the April onwards, but this year it is the February that is considered as the normal and cooler area, cooler season, but this time heat waves have been declared into the February itself. What is the normal definition that is defined by the IMD for the heat wave? Normally, the criteria is different from the coastal area, plain area, and this is for the hilly area. What is the degree? Temperature should be more than 40 degree into the plain area. Okay. For the coastal area, it should be the 37 and more degree, and for the hilly area, it should be the 30 degree and more. It is the coastal for the 37 and more, and into the hilly area, 30. The other condition is that when there is the rise in the temperature, and this temperature is around 5.4 to the 6.4 degrees centigrade, normal temperature. Generally think that in the March, it is considered that the 39 degrees centigrade is the normal condition of this March month. But suddenly we find that for the 2 consecutive days, there is the 33 degrees centigrade of this temperature into the March. So we will declare it as the heat wave condition. Okay. Beside that, we have also seen, okay, so we have also seen that if the temperature exceed 45 degrees, irrespective of the way where you are existing, that doesn't matter. If over all degree that increased 45 degree in any of the area, that's considered as the heat wave condition. And if it reached to the 47 and more, then it is considered as the severe heat wave. And in that condition, we need to make a plan, and this plan is known as the heat action plan, and this is done at the state level, district level, and the city level. Okay. So what are the things that we try to bring the heat wave action plan? The first thing is that you have to forecast, you have to create the early warning system. By that, the authority as well as people can take the precautionary measure. The other condition is to educate the people and the public so that they could take a measure. Okay, educate people by the forecasting, they will know that yes, heat wave is there. And by educating that what you have to do when heat wave is there, this is done by the regular education and the training program. Beside that, the government and authority need to create the shelter and also provide the drinking water and the cooling provision whenever there is a such condition like the dehydration is taking place, to prevent dehydration. Okay, we need to direct the hospital that they should be prepared with the face the situation of the heat wave, such as the dehydration condition. Okay. We also need long-term preparation, such as we can build the buildings as per the heat resistant property. For example, the rooftop can be in such a technology that bring the cool environment into the indoor situation. Okay. We also need to bring the coordination among the different stakeholders. What could be the different stakeholders here? The administration, the hospital, civil society, all can be brought under this. Okay. So the scope here, the writer is talking that we need to go beyond the what scope and what are our way to standard to decide the heat wave. Because normally now we are thinking about the heat wave into the dry and more heat, more temperature condition. But we need to bring the other conditions. That's at even the humid heat and a warm night, such situation could be, we can bring under the heat wave condition, and also we need to develop a heat index considering all these factors. Okay. Beside that, the priority should be given to those who are the most vulnerable. Like one of the example here given, like the workers, those who are working into the informal sector, they need to proper strategy for them as well. Besides that, we have also seen that we need to bring the hot spot mapping where there is the more chances, for example, those areas that are the urban heatland, there is the more condition of the heat wave. What is the question you must ask that what is meant by the heat island? So it is the heat island, means in the city area you will see that the mostly the area is concretized, and there is the more absorption of the heat and energy from the sun rays and other emissions. In that condition you will find that in urban area, that area where is the concretization is more, the temperature is much higher as compared to the surrounding area where there is the trees and the plants. So these area where the temperature is much more as compared to the surrounding area, they are known as the heat wave, like the heat island, urban heat island. Okay, for example, into the island you see that the around the sea there is the one land, that is the territory that is above the sea surface, that is the island. The same is the condition for here. Okay, what could be the resource allocation? So resource allocation, where we can do by the budgetary provision, and also we can bring the dialogue between the state civil society organization and the workers union, because the most impact that is on the those who are working into the outdoor, and those workers who are working into the factories where there is the less or there is no provision for the cooling or the extra such measures. Okay, so here if there will be the dialogue between all them, we can reach at a common ground where the heat wave condition can be tackled in a much effective manner. So this is all about from this news article. Let's do some of the question from the topic that we have covered. So the first question that we are going to take is that the Malcolm Edessia Award is conferred for understanding contribution in which of the following? Environmental conservation, social work, development studies, classical Indian dance. So we see that this is given for the development studies, and we have seen that this year it is given to the professor from the JNU. So, and one of the professors from the Ajim Premji University. So this is, you should know that this is given on the name of the Malcolm Edessia, and he was the economist, as well as he had a lot of work that has done into the social development. Okay. Next question. Consider following statement about the Malcolm Edessia Award. It carries a cash prize and a citation. It is awarded only to the Indian citizens. Which of the above statement is correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. Here you will see that yes, it carries the cash prize and citation, but it is not confined to the Indian citizens. It can be open for the foreigners as well, and that's why only one is correct. The National Agroforestry Policy 2014 aims to increase tree cover outside conventional forest in India for which of the following region? 1. Enhance livelihood opportunity for the rural communities, improve ecological stability and resilience, increase domestic timber production. So we will see that this National Agroforestry Policy, this promote the livelihood for the rural communities, and also it's talk about the timber industry, and it's also talk about the environmental protection by the ecological stability and resilience. So all 1, 2, 3, all three are the correct, so D will be the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following phenomena is associated with the cooling of eastern equatorial Pacific Ocean? So we saw that into the case of El Nino, the cold current was replaced by the warm current, and the opposite is in the La Nino condition, that is into the eastern equatorial Pacific Ocean, that is near to the Peruvian coast, and here you will find that this is the La Nina condition because it is talking about the cooling, and in case of the warming it will be the El Nina. Okay, so B will be the correct answer. With reference to Indian Ocean Dipole, consider following statement. A positive IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole event, is characterized by the cooler than average sea surface temperature in the Western Indian Ocean. A positive IOD events can lead to the increased rainfall over the parts of India. So here you will find that a positive IOD event that is the cooler than average, not into the western, but here it will be the eastern Indian Ocean. So this is incorrect. A positive IOD event leads to the increased landfall into the part of India. So this is correct, and that's why only 2 is the correct answer. B will be the correct answer. So this is all about from the today's news, and we have covered most of the relevant news from the today's newspaper. Here we will conclude our session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.